Hi everyone, this is a pay-per-click audit. I'm Steven, I'm working for shouthouse.com. And the terms of this free audit, if you want to get a free pay-per-click audit, just contact us. So shouthouse.com is the URL, and then just click on contact. And then the caveat is if you want the free version of an audit, we do ask to be able to put the audit video on one of our promotional channels so other people can see it. But if you want the paid version, we're happy to do that and keep it private. All right, so without further ado, here is the audit. So it is for a company called AIPurity.com, and it's a service that offers an AI detector where you paste in a bunch of text here, and you click on a button like right there, and it says whether or not the text was generated by AI. So the immediate question is, who is this for? And to kind of skip to the chase, it's for students. But that is the first problem I noticed with the website, which is that's not clear. Right, under tools here, it's set up to be targeting multiple groups, developers, but really it's for students. But it could also be for teachers, and then for students, they have different, diametrically opposite goals. So the students, they want to paste in their content, make sure they don't get caught with AI, with ChatGPT generated essays. And the teachers, on the other hand, want to catch them finding out that it's AI generated. And there's some others. But the reason I know this is for students is if I go down to the bottom here, there are some testimonials, but they're all from students, right? So here's one, Ivan, college, university. So my guess is that the people who are willing to pay for this are students. And so my first recommendation would be redo this and eliminate everything except the stuff that's relevant to students. Your competitors do this. If I look through the space, and all the ads are for services targeting students. And then the other feature that almost all your competitors offer, the ones that are targeting students, is a humanizer. So not only do you paste in your content and then you find out that it's flagged as AI generated, but then they offer a service which is to humanize it. So an example would be Phrasely as a competitor, this guy right here. So again, you paste in your content and it says, it's, I guess it's this goes straight to the humanize feature, but you could click on check for AI. It'd say, okay, it's generated by AI, and then you want to humanize it. So this word humanize should be both in your, in your title up here and in your ads as well. So students know what they're going to get. They're going to see if it's AI generated, if it's flagged, but they're also get a solution to their problem, which is there'll be a way of preventing it from getting flagged that way. And then the other thing about this, a little bit more nuanced, is it's one thing if your tool says that this is AI generated, but that might not be enough to convince a student to pay for this. What a student would really like to know is this going to get flagged as AI generated by the teacher's service? So it's one thing if your service says that it's AI generated, but maybe the teacher is using a different service. So for me, I would want to know, what does Grammarly think of this? What does what does AIDetector.com think of this? What of the 20 services that are detecting AI content, what's my score on each one of those? And they all have APIs, like you guys have an API as well in here somewhere. So you should be able to program that in and see what other services determine for a chunk of content. And that'd be a huge selling point, I would say. Not only what do we detect, but what are the other services detecting, one of which your teacher is probably using. So I'm going to continue this audit just with the assumption that this is targeting students, not teachers. All right, so let's see. So I mentioned you have a search campaign and you have a video campaign. I filtered these, but again, there's nothing missing. The others are deleted or minor, irrelevant stuff. Let me get into the goals, which is what these two campaigns share. So for goals, these are conversions. What do we want to have happen on the website? And how do we want to optimize Google's algorithm to increase those conversions? Okay, let me go down a little bit. All right, so this is for a full year, all time, 2023 to 24. And unfortunately, there's only one purchase for $15. So I'm assuming that that is set up correctly. I remember, I think you told me on the phone it was. So that's not good, obviously. You want to have more than one purchase. These goals are being imported from Google Analytics, so they're not Google Ads goals, where it's defined which web page they went to, like a thank you web page. But I'm assuming this is set up correctly. And so that is your primary goal. There's also calls, but there were no calls from ads. That's 0, so that's not an issue. And then there was, I guess this didn't really happen, but an Android install. Maybe there's an Android app that you're planning on adding, but it's not ready yet. And then YouTube channel subscriptions, that was 0. I wouldn't say that's a primary goal anyway, but whatever. Okay, so we get to the main one, which is this other category. So in other, these are other goals. You have a huge number, 261 conversions for a file download event. So this file underscore download, that is a standard event name that you see in GA4. It represents what it sounds like. It's either a link or any kind of resulted request for a file that does not end in, it's not a web page. It's a .csv, it's a .pdf, .doc. Now, unfortunately, I looked through your website. I couldn't actually find the download. I went through this whole thing, AI detection, and there's no downloading that happens. So it might be a service you removed. Maybe it's a PDF that scored your content for whatever, AI generated aspects, different paragraphs or whatever. But I couldn't find it, so I'm flying blind a little bit on that. But it's a problem either way. So right now you have 261 of these, and they're being assigned a conversion value of $261, $1 each. If I clicked on this, it would tell me what the conversion value is set at. But my guess is that they're not worth $261. So let's say these are subscriptions or maybe downloads of that PDF or whatever. Some portion of those people that downloaded it became customers, but I don't know if you had 261 of them, if you actually got $261 worth out of it. You might have gotten, let's say 3 people of that, which would be $45, 3 times 15. So I would go in here and change this based on the math to say what was the actual value, right? So let's say whatever 1 out of 10 people do this. The way it is right now, 1 out of 10 people, let's say 1 out of 10 people purchase your service, worth about $15. So this be like 1/15 of a dollar, whatever that is, a couple cents, 5 cents or something, 6 cents. So you'd have to adjust this. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then your the Google algorithm will start promoting your ads to people that are more likely to subscribe to stuff rather than purchase stuff, right? Or download stuff instead of purchase. And you don't want a bunch of tire kickers. You want people that are going to pull out their credit card and purchase your stuff. All right. Then there's some other things like chat, which again, it's not worth $10. It's not $1 a chat, but and registration. This says login, but it's probably registration. And then this generate lead, that didn't happen at all. It says 0. That's like whatever the standard is, that if you have a contact us form, that is the event you should send to GA4, generate lead event. And it's hard to believe that generated 0 leads, but I don't know. I would check the formatting of that, the tag management. All right, so that is about the goals. And to summarize, I would fix up this one, figure out what is the actual conversion value of one of these downloads. All right, back to campaigns. And so again, 2 campaigns, search and video. Let's target the YouTube one first, this video. All right, so there's there's one big one, 43,000 views, and then some small ones. So I'm just gonna focus on this one. All right, so let me go back a level. So add groups. Okay, so here's the primary ad group that you're YouTube campaign has. And I would definitely have more than one ad group for different customer intents. Maybe it's a student who wants to, obviously check their essay, see if it's going to get flagged, but it might be like a foreign language student that is relying on, this service to see, what parts of their translation or whatever are AI flagged. So there might be some nuances as to different ad groups, but you also might have different ad groups based on the targeting, which we'll see in a second. All right, so your targeting, your average cost per view is 1 cent, which is great. And there's views, impressions. Impressions, how many people started out seeing your ad, and then views is how many people stuck around for 30 seconds of the video, I think. Yeah. And let's see, so I guess the first thing I should get into is the device. So the major problem here is this. If I segment this by the device on which they saw the ad, you'll see that 34,000 of them, costing $400, saw it on a TV screen. But the problem is, if a student is watching your ad on a TV screen, there's nothing they can do, right? They can't paste their essay into a TV screen. So this, in all likelihood, is the biggest candidate for why the money, why it wasn't worthwhile. Same thing with tablets and mobile phones. Students are only writing essays on desktops and laptops. So I would limit this in the campaign settings to just the devices that are just computers. Let's see. I forgot to look at the campaign settings. Let me go back a level. Hold on. So for the campaign settings, this is good. Sorry, not that one. So you're going through all the different things, that's fine. You're not setting it up on partners, which is good. That could be a waste of money. This, you might want to tweak, have a different campaign for non-English speakers. My guess is that people that don't speak English do use AI services more often to, reformat their essays. And then this looks like it's set up to be different cities that have college towns in them, if I had to guess. So that's probably fine. And this is target cost per viewing, that's fine. And so here's how I would set up this, change this to specific things. So I'd eliminate those guys and apply that. Save that, but I'm going to skip that for now. And then I might add some frequency capping so people don't see the ad too often. All right, so there's the settings for that. Let me go back to this. Give me a second. All right, so let's look at the audiences. So sorry, let me go back to ad groups. So for this ad group, to look at the audiences, I'm going to go to this right here. Okay, so for this ad group, here are the audiences. There's some demographics. Let me just wait for it to load. So there's a couple settings here, but I'm going to go through them in a second. Okay, so this is the time when the ad was active on YouTube. All right, I'm going to click on Edit Audience Segments, and we'll see what this is targeting. So this, we could save it as students or whatever, but there's immediately a problem, which is you're targeting people from 18 to 34, but 34-year-olds are not typically in college. And then an 18-year-old might be in college, or might just be 18, but not be in college. So this is a huge audience, but it doesn't necessarily equate to college students. I would eliminate this whole thing, this demographics, because there is an audience in this section that categorizes specifically college students. So it's in here somewhere. It is right there, right, current college students. So I don't think anybody in high school is going to pay for your service. They probably don't even have a credit card, but you have an audience of 1 billion to however many billion college students. And then if you do want to target the teachers, that would be this category right here, right? People that work in education. But I would X out every single one of these except college education. And then real quick, these settings are logical ands. So this setting here is intersected with this setting, which is intersected with this setting. Now, fortunately, all these were 0. Otherwise, this would have taken effect. And if this were like 100 people, it would have just selected people among the 100 people, the ones that are in college. So you want to eliminate that and have that as a totally different ad group. And then one more thing, I would also add a different ad group based on search terms, right? So skipping this thing about whether or not they're in college, if I click on this and I call it students that searched. Well, it's kind of slow, right? But you get the idea. Students that search for AI detectors or whatever. And then you could say, hey, I want to target people that at one point or another search for any of these terms. And so that's a pretty big group, right? 500 million people. And the advantage is that you can target these people even though they're not searching for your tool right this instant. They might find it useful. They're probably still in college. And I can't remember, I think it's 30 days, the period when they search for this. But I would separate this as a different campaign, or sorry, a different ad group. And that way you can target people that are very much interested in this thing that you're selling, even though they're not specifically searching for it right now. Okay, so that is that. Let me just check my notes. All right, I think that's it for the audiences. There were no exclusions, but I didn't see a reason to add them. All right, let me go back to the campaigns. Okay, actually, let me go to the ads on second thought. All right, so here's the ad for this YouTube thing. So YouTube ads, this is the ad group. So there's only one ad, one video, so I'd add more, just so you can target different sales pitches. And then the other thing is it's kind of a short ad, a short video, so you may be misled in the engagement, right? It might say, hey, lots of people saw your ad, but it's only 15 seconds long. If it was like 30 seconds long, you could tell how many people are actually engaged. So create more ads. And then the biggest problem is that the ad is not clear, unfortunately. So if I click on this, actually I already loaded it somewhere, but if you preview it on YouTube, I think it's right here. So this is your only ad, and just looking at it, it's not clear, right? There's no person telling me what's going on. And then I'm not wondering if my text is human written. I'm wondering if I'm going to get caught. If that's the reality. So if you play this, I'll turn the microphone around so you can hear it, but it's just not really clear what you're offering or who it's targeted at.
Consume. Detect AI-generated text with unparalleled precision. Choose AI Purity, where results are refined, insights are defined, and purity meets humanity.
All right, so that was the ad. It just wasn't clear, where results are defined, purity is refined or something. It didn't make sense to me. If you compare that to a competitor, where's one? Here's one, right? So this ad right here is super clear. It's totally obvious what it's about. Where's the play button?
There's a way to get past those AI detectors that your teachers use, right? So if you need some help writing that essay that you've been putting on and your teacher is going to run it through the AI detector, go ahead. You're free to use AI. All you have to do is then plug that AI article into Phrasely.ai and it will humanize it so that it passes through as real and doesn't get caught by the AI detectors. So you can breathe easy knowing you'll ace the next essay. There's a way to get past those AI detectors.
Stop that. Okay, so it's quite clear what it's about. They have a student actually narrating it. and it's all about getting past AI detectors. So it's totally clear, who the audience is, what they're trying to get out of it, etc. And if you look at their website, it's also pretty clear that you paste in your content. You can try to check for AI, but they want to humanize it. The goal, the solution to the pain point is you don't want to get caught, so you want to humanize your content. So I'd create more ads and make them, have a narrator. Just make it clear who the audience is, what they're going to get out of it. You might also consider advertising on TikTok. A lot of students obviously hang out there, and you could get some good kind of viral stuff going there. It's relatively inexpensive compared to Google Ads. I know one of your competitors, I looked on TikTok for their ad library, and there's one called Quillbot, one of your competitors, and they advertise all over the place on TikTok. So obviously it works for them. I also noticed that there's these ads on Facebook, right? So clearly this is a service that, if these guys seem to be on the ball, they, were willing to pay for these ads. They've been running for a while, some of them. They're not on the screen, but there are some that have been running for a while. So it's clearly profitable if they're tracking it correctly. So Facebook is definitely another marketing channel. And then I did look on Google Ads, their ads transparency library, and other people are advertising. So it's working for them as well. All right. What else about this? I think that's it for the YouTube thing. Yeah. Okay, so let me get to the search campaign. So it'd be this other one right here. Okay, so here are the ad groups for the search campaign. There's one big one and some small ones. That's the big one. So it's good to definitely have different ad groups when targeting competitors. This looks like version 2 of this, and I don't know what that is, but I don't know, maybe people that use ChatGPT specifically. Since this is the big one, I'm just going to focus on this one. All right, so it's about $7,000. These conversions, again, if I look at the conversion action, you'll see that these were all from those file downloads. I think I saw in that ad really quickly there was a screenshot of what looked like a download, so that's probably what it is, like with a little scorecard or whatever. But again, only one purchase. So, and then I don't know how much these are worth, but they're being counted as worth $1 each. Yeah, whereas this purchase is worth $15. All right. So yeah, so I would turn off the ads on anything except. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Conversion action. Oh, same issue as before with the device too. Not just the conversion action, but the device. A lot of these were ads on mobile phones, where I don't think anybody can paste an essay from their mobile phone into your website. So I'd just stick with computers. And let's see. And then the other major issue with this was the bidding strategy. So let me go back for a second. Sorry. Let me get this right. Okay, one more chance. Here we go. They move things around. By the time you look at this video, all these links and stuff would be in a different spot. But what I was aiming for was this bid type strategy. So this is currently set to maximize clicks, which is not what you want. So you've had enough conversions, sort of, I guess. I don't know how valuable that file download is. But maximize clicks is what it sounds like. It's going to get you the maximum number of clicks, regardless of whether or not they produce money for you. So if you have enough conversions, which again is unclear, I would change this to a maximize conversion strategy. And then eventually you want to go to target ROAS, return on ad spend, once you figure out that you actually have a winning formula. So maximizing clicks is really maximizing spend. It's not very expensive. It's only 16 cents per click, but that definitely adds up when you have however many clicks, wherever it is. It's further to the right or the left. bottom line is you had $28 per conversion, but again, a lot of those are almost all of them are file downloads. So it's unlikely that that produced revenue. Let me get into the ad groups here then. Sorry, I should have looked at the settings. Let me look at the campaign settings real quick. It's probably pretty similar to the YouTube ones. Yeah, it's kind of slow. All right. So this is usually a common error as people set up the search partners, but that's good you did not do that. That tends to be a waste of money. You would add that in if you have a profitable campaign you want to try to expand it. And then this ought to be its own separate campaign if you're going to do that. And then you have these. It's hard for me to tell, but I think these are college towns. It's not quite clear, but my guess is that's what they are. And then we mentioned that before. And I think that's it. Oh, actually, I do remember something about the keyword match types. Let me just get into that in a second. Okay, that's probably good enough. All right, so if I click on this campaign, there were different ad groups, and I looked at them briefly, and I think one big difference between this ad group and that ad group was the keywords. These were broad match, if I remember correctly, and the keywords associated with this were all phrase match. So it's always a little bit worrisome, risky to have broad match campaign keywords. They go, they capture more. You don't have to specify as much, but they also kind of go overboard sometimes. But I remember looking at the search terms for this, and they actually were fine. So if I go to the search terms, yeah, well, those are fine, but I don't think, at least. So where was that? So I don't know how that showed up, but that would be a language setting, I guess. And let me sort by number of impressions. Okay, so you have exact match, or I'm sorry, let me sort by maybe ad group. Yeah, these are all the phrase matches. Oh, there's broad match. All right, well, I'm messing this up, but I do remember that one of these had mostly broad match and one of them was phrase match, but I'd have to go in and find them and see what they're set as. Oh my gosh, it's hard to use this. Oh my gosh, I did that 3 times in a row. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the main one, the 300,000. So let me focus on that one. Oh yeah, these are all phrase match. There we go. What else about this? All right, I guess for this one, you have a couple ad groups, but I would have more, like definitely the thing for different languages. Like I saw Chinese in there. You would probably want to have one that targets people that aren't using English, and they may have they may want to see an ad in their own language. Same thing with the ads. Let me look at the ads themselves. So this is for the AI detection ad group. So there's only one ad, so obviously it'd be good to have more than one ad. But again, looking at it, it's not quite clear what you're getting or who it's targeted at. So if you look at some other ads, I collected a couple of them, it's quite clear what they're up to, right? It's like bypass AI detectors. And then some are generic, but a lot of them are just very specific. Never get caught by Turnitin, right? Bypass this. So bypass, never get caught, plagiarism checker, check your paper. It's quite clear who those are targeted at. But for your ad, it's not quite as clear, right? This is just kind of generic stuff. And what else? Give me a second, I'm going to look at my notes. One landing page. yeah, so I'd have multiple ads and multiple landing pages for different sales pitches. And then let me go back a level to the ad groups. So I noticed for this one, AI detection, there were no negative keywords set up. So look at keywords, I guess. Yeah, I guess we're on to keywords. Okay, never mind. Let me go straight to keywords. Okay, so if I look at these negative search keywords, it was empty. And at first I thought, like, maybe you should add the word free to this. Like, you don't want people searching for free stuff and then having your website and pay for a click. But I guess the reality is that you can probably convince them, or you might have run the numbers and be able to convince them that even though they search for something for free, they actually are willing to pay $15 for your service. Other people put the word free actually in their ad, so I'm guessing that's okay. But there might be some negative keywords you could add. I looked through the search terms, which is what people actually typed, and there was nothing that was horribly wrong or didn't match your service. So there's not much need for negative keywords, but I would definitely keep an eye on it. And then these runs were all phrase match. I think those worked okay. I noticed that there was not many that mentioned the word plagiarism. So I think you might see, yeah, that's it right there, is it? Oh no, there's a couple more, there's 30 some. But yeah, I didn't see plagiarism in there anywhere, so that's a keyword that's missing. And I don't know if broad match or phrase match will pick it up. Then the other issue is your quality score. So let me just go to the top here to start at the top. So the quality score is kind of a measure of how much, a factor of which your price is going to depend for these ads. So if you have a poor quality score, and that means that you'll have to pay more for your ads to appear in a certain position. So I'm going to see what the quality score is of your ads. So here's quality score. Here's the main number, and then expected click-through rate, landing page experience, and ad relevance. How closely does the ad, you only have one of them, match what people are searching for? Okay, so quality score, I looked at these, they weren't so bad, like 7 out of 10, that's not too bad. And most of these are above average. But I would filter them for ones where like maybe 2 out of the 3 are below average, and then figure out why or remove that keyword entirely. So I didn't see anything, on a first glance. Some of them could be fixed, right? If it's a landing page experience, you can create a different landing page that has more of those keywords. You can't do too much about the expected click-through rate. The ad relevance, you can create more ads. Again, you only have one, so you could do a better job of that. But overall, these weren't too bad. I didn't see anything that was like 3 or 5. But you could definitely filter for that, quality score of less than 5 or whatever. It's in here somewhere. Okay, so it looks like there's only one in this case. So that's not too bad. And then let me look at the actual ad. So give me a second. Oh my gosh. So hard to use this now. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I keep missing it. Okay, there we go. All right, so only have the one ad, and you have a couple headlines. So I wouldn't worry so much about this. That's just about how many options you provide, but it doesn't correlate with the actual, return on investment. But generally, people would have different landing pages. If you have a little bit of time on your hands, you can create those. I don't know that is what people are most interested in. Text detector, it could be plagiarism checker or whatever, or, whatever, avoid getting caught or something like that. So for these, like an essay checker isn't necessarily, clear what that is. This is kind of clear, but the other ads that I saw were very clear, right? Bypass this, never get caught. It's much more clear, right? So I would focus on that and have kind of less vague stuff. Yeah. All right, I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? No, I guess that's it. All right, so hope this was helpful, and get in touch with us at shouthouse.com if you'd like to have one of these as well.